A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
This Thanksgiving, Butterball wants you to really connect. Let's get back to laughing around the table, sharing stories, and making memories. Let's talk like we used to. We'll help with the turkey so you can enjoy being together. Visit Butterball.com for turkey tips.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, the answer. You ask me, I'll tell you anything. No squeaking of the thing. We are coming to you live. Well, we were live when we did it. But, sometimes we will bank episodes because I'll be out of town and unable to record. But we wanted to give you as close to live as possible. So I'm here in my office with Smokey Husky. Come on, man.
I was getting the dog toy away from the dog.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
This is my husband, man.
This is my husband, man. And we're coming to you from the bunkers of the self-quarantining, of the self-distancing, of the social relaxation. We are here for you. We want you to know, first and foremost, everything is okay. Whether you're in a big city that's having mandatory self-quarantining or you live out in the middle of nowhere and you're feeling a little alone, the country is not on fire. Everything's going to be okay. Let's hunker down and answer some of your questions.
I mean, we don't know how it's going to be, but nonetheless.
Okay, I don't know why you're here then.
We're going to be
upset these people.
Responsible and safe and take care of each other and be responsible and stay home and don't touch people or go places unless you really need to.
As a rule in general, if you hear tiny tips, tap, tap, tapping in the back or a squeak, that is Tianfu making her way around the office. You guys wrote in some questions recently, and we're going to answer them for you now.
Little side note about this podcast. I during this time of self-quarantine, I hope you guys really enjoy the dynamic of me and Iliza because we are going to be hanging out a lot together and probably making stuff. So, because we have no one else for her to talk to.
So we have started a show. It is called Don't Panic Pantry. And it's a daily cooking show, sometimes twice daily. And each day it gets a little bit better, but Smokey Man comes up with a fun recipe and we post the ingredients and we invite you to cook along with us.
Yeah, basically it's a very impromptu thing we started doing just because we're going to be cooking all the time. Are going to be cooking all the time, and we figured it'd be a fun way to distract ourselves and hopefully some other people too.
He's a chef. I'm an entertainer. We're combining those two loves. And now, focus back on the entertaining. We're here with Ask Iliza Anything. Your questions, first and foremost. We have Callisto, 744. Is Emily alive? It's the only question I need answered. The answer is unclear at this time.
I mean,
she's fine.
You did talk to her on the phone moments ago because you didn't know how to set up your podcast.
I knew how to set it up. The thing wasn't switched. Now I can do myself. Kel_C, Sia. Suggestions for being single during this quarantine? I feel like I'm stuck with a bunch of pen pals that will lead nowhere. Welcome to dating in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I think that my solution is you're going to stay single during the quarantine.
You're definitely going to stay single. I was joking that online dating now feels like when you online date just around Christmas, where you're like, yeah, I'd love to go out. Oh, I'm going back east to visit my family. I'll see you in a month. So this is a great time to really get to know someone. I also think it'd be really cute, and I'm not taking a page from Love is Blind, but to do like an online date. Like get some wine and do a Skype with them. Because if you have a connection, you have a connection. Unless you have a bad internet connection, in which case I hate you.
Missed connections. Love is not in person. Yeah, I also was thinking about too, like people who just started dating when this was all going down. They were like, you know what? Screw it. We've only been dating it's our second date, but let's just quarantine together and just see if at the end of these 3 months we still want to be together.
Put it right to the test. We kind of did that when we met. We just we're like, all right, let's just be together all day, every day.
Yes.
And that usually doesn't work.
We had an option of leaving also.
There's always the option. There's always an escape hatch. KTT 1010. Can you talk about Tianfu? Literally anything dog related would be a welcome distraction. Yes, I can. Sometimes she's so mellow. I'm like, do you have a personality? And then I realize, she's the sweet girl that like her personality, like you can only really get it if you spend time with her. But she has very sharp teeth. She's a sweet girl. And she's been through so much.
She doesn't use them to their full effect though.
No, she's laying on a couch on a shelf right now.
She's like a master martial artist who is not using her full ability to hurt us. She just bites very gently.
She does have an issue with this one pit bull that wears a raincoat that walks in our neighborhood, and it's the only thing that she's vicious
raining.
about. I mean, he's weird. She's a sweet girl. She's got tiny paws, and her inner monologue to me is like, she always has to say her name. Hi, I'm Tianfu. Things have been real hard for me. Hi, I'm Tianfu. Please let me in. I'm Tianfu. Where's my breakfast? But that's how I see myself too. Please take pity on me. Casey, I don't know where these were pulled from. This is Instagram or Facebook community questions. Casey says, hi, Iliza, Smokey Esky, and Tianfu. In one of your Insta stories, you said you got the creative freedom to rework your lines in Spencer Confidential. Is that why Sissy got a lobster at the end? Little Easter egg for your fans? P.S. Your Boston accent gives me life. Sorry,
I'll take this one, guys.
Okay, go for it.
Well, no, I have no idea.
Peterberg was very cool about letting me improvise things. A fun little Easter egg that I stuck in there is when I'm talking to all the dogs and I'm like, let's go, Bandit, Rocky, Smokey. I definitely made up those names. And I did say Smokey because of my husband.
I think somebody called it out in one of the questions. Somebody noticed it.
I think so too, but these are very difficult. We have like pages and pages of questions. So we're going to try to get to all of them. And the lobster at the end. So on the scene where Mark and I are walking on the beach, he's like, what do you want? And I improvise. I was like, I want you to buy me a lobster. Because that's what I always want. I love lobster.
Can confirm.
Yeah. 100%. Less lately because I feel bad and they're alive in the oceans. So I don't eat them ever really. But I said that. And then they added in that scene where we're eating lobster. Fun fact about that scene. On every cut, they'd reset and give us new lobster. But I swallowed my lobster meat every time. And I flew home to LA that day with 5 pounds of lobster meat in my stomach. And I was nauseous.
You basically reacted like Blanche.
Yeah. I just took what I could when I could and still look beautiful doing it. Rochelle, how can we stay positive and help our economy and small businesses during this time? I'm celiac and I let everyone know. I'm kidding. I'm celiac and I bring up support gluten-free businesses and companies during this time so we don't lose the necessities. Smokey?
I mean, it's really
I am celiac.
Case by case right now. So in LA at this moment, as of midnight last night, all restaurants and bars are closed to the public except for pickup, delivery, takeout stuff. So people can't actually go in the restaurant and sit down. So, if the restaurants that you like are doing that, then yeah, I'd say definitely support them. Also, there are probably independent businesses that make gluten-free products that you want to support that are hopefully made in your hometown and support local people. Order that stuff as well. Another great way to support local businesses is to buy their merch. That is a great way to do it.
Like T-shirts and hats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like those are a huge way for those guys to
Great
keep
margins.
making some money.
A shirt costs like $2 to make and they sell them for like $20. What? I see Shark Tank. I know the way.
That's the way. Whereas food is horrible margins.
Yeah, you can definitely look. There is still food. This is not as bad as a lot of countries have had for this isn't a war. Definitely, if you want to do takeout, the whole idea is to lower the amount of points of contact. So you don't go out to eat because it's your waiter touching it, it's the cashier touching it, it's the chefs, the busboys, all that stuff.
Other customers, like
sitting close proximity. They sneeze, you're right there. We all saw Outbreak 30 years ago. So you can patronize your restaurants by getting food to go. That's okay. And by doing online shopping, that's okay too.
And also, frankly, the less people interacting with restaurant staff, the healthier the restaurant staff will be and the better chance they'll have to stay open and keep making food for people. Once somebody in a restaurant gets coronavirus, it's going to be tough for them to look every other employee in the eye and say, come to work.
Assuming that they know.
Fall has fallen, winter is on its way, the days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between, Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Eliza50 and use code Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Eliza50 at factormeals.com/Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling. And nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Eliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Eliza for 25% off. Limited time only, exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Eliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Eliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Eliza.
Miss and B pendant. Okay. My graduation from Michigan State College of Law was just indefinitely postponed this afternoon. I know I'm not the only graduate, undergrad, master's, doctorate, etc., who is looking forward to crossing the stage after working so hard for a degree, whose graduation is not now happening. Do you have any advice for us graduates who are really feeling the weight of the virus as all our important lasts are being canceled? I'm devastated.
I was just emailing with...
She says, P.S. I'm aware that people are dying and struggling to make ends meet, but I'm allowed to be upset. You are definitely allowed to be upset. That's a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Go on.
I was just emailing about this with a friend of the show.
Peter Careva, nervous
Careva.
friend of the show.
He deserves another chance.
He'll get one.
But yeah, just
Coffin, help me.
he was just feeling really bad about it. It's a horrible thing. There's so much stuff that is just tough about it. So you kind of have to deal with it the way everyone else is dealing with it. Hopefully you can find a way to, scrounge together a little money, a couple of lentils, not much, just biscuits, crackers.
Well, you know what's really great is when you do an inside joke between us on
I
a
think
podcast.
we've talked about it on this podcast before.
You know what? You will have your chance. They will have another ceremony. It may not be when you want it, but try not to get too sad about the idea that you don't get to cross the stage, and you still graduated. You still are free to now do things with that law degree. So the major thing to celebrate is that you have the degree.
And most importantly, getting back to me saying inside jokes on the
Go
podcast, the last time I did that, you got upset. But then what'd you get out of it? a T-shirt that said "shipping off to Biptar." So sometimes it all works out for you anyway.
Yeah, we shipped home a box of coronavirus-laden gifts from Columbus, and one of them was the "shipping off to Biptar" shirt. We're shipping off to Biptar.
Apologies if I forget to lean back with the mic when I drink my coffee, but you're welcome if you're into mukbang.
Caitlin Slaughter, Smokey Husky, I need you to comment on defend a uniquely male behavior. What on earth is with men and taking forever and a goddamn day to poop? My husband and I eat the same, overall very clean and healthy, lots of veggies and lean meats, plenty of water, work out mostly daily. I swear to God, it takes him no less than 45 minutes to poop. I can be in and out in less than 5 minutes. God help us if he has to poop before we go somewhere. We go from leaving right on time to me sitting by the door like an impatient toddler for half a fucking hour while he says he just has to use the bathroom real quick.
Well,
What is wrong? Oh, there's more.
Oh, boy.
In caps, what is wrong with your gender? Do you all have horrific hemorrhoids from sitting on the throne for so long? Why is this only a guy thing? Please enlighten me, because I don't get it. Oh,
Well,
boy. He's
gotta
about to
have-
throw me under the bus.
few points on this one. First of all, sounds like you're trying to take something that was it your husband or a boyfriend?
It's a dude. It's her
Something
husband.
that your husband does and assume it applies to all men.
We hate that as women, don't we, ladies?
I just it sounds inaccurate.
Sounds like your husband has IBS.
Yeah, so the other options are he has a medical condition, which should probably get looked at. 2, he's sneaking in a bunch of really bad for you food in the meantime. Or 3, he is just fucking trying to get some alone time and is on his phone screwing around. So
He's definitely on his phone, relaxing that sphincter, having a healthy dump.
yeah.
45 minutes is a bit egregious, but you might want to, rather than yell at him, be like, are you eating something weird? Do you not feel well? How's your colon?
No one should be pooping for 45 minutes. So here's hoping that's comedic hyperbole. Because if it's not, that sounds like a medical condition.
A toast to your intestinal tract. Are you opening a soda? Got a crisp soda there?
Say
Get yourself
sparkling water.
A Squatty Potty, even an off-brand one. It is awesome. And if you get him one, he'll poop a lot faster. The fastest poop I've ever seen was Tian Fu running through an intersection in New York the other week, literally squatted down for 3 seconds. I didn't even know, and she pooped, and we had to leave it in the middle of the intersection. She's like, excuse me, here we go.
Speaking of Squatty Potty, can we tell the story of what I thought was incredibly funny when I walked in to the bathroom? And you weren't in the bathroom, but the Squatty Potty was like pushed out past the toilet, and the trash can was knocked over. And it looked like you just went, whoa!
No!
Just blew the entire bathroom
I
apart.
may have. Sometimes you don't enjoy the go. Okay.
I'm gonna put in a handlebar next to the toilet seat.
Miguela from the community question says, my burning question. Oh, community. Got it. Emily labeled it community question. I'm like, what does that mean? The app. Sorry. My burning question for your expert advice is, you say teach people how to treat you. I love that mentality, but I struggle with it at work. Oh, I didn't mean for at work. I just meant like in theory in the Garden of Eden, not like in a shitty office space. Wait, there's more.
Okay.
I always wanted to be helpful and be a team player, but over time, I found my coworkers take advantage of that. I'm asked to help do things that are technically not my job, but the whole other duties as necessary shit on the job description, so I help. The cycle keeps repeating. How do I convey that I'm a team player, but not a go-to grunt work bitch? I'm about to start a new position, and I want to be a team player, but set the right tone. You seem to have something to say about that.
Yeah, I think with a lot of this stuff, if you do what you believe is right and you do it with confidence, people tend to believe that you're right and they let you do it. And when you sort of come about it timidly or sort of apologizing in advance for what you're going to say, you're sort of bracing them for how to react to it. Now, granted, also the people in your office might be turds, so it doesn't matter. But
Office turds.
I think at the end of the day, if you have a real good reason for not doing something, just say you're not doing it and give the reason. And if that's not enough for them and they need to write you up for it, then maybe it is part of your job.
I think there's power in saying no, because most people don't expect you to. And then if they want to scutch and ask for a reason, being prepared with a valid reason that you deliver kindly, but with authority, don't waver, don't equivocate, then it makes it easier for people to swallow. People can sense when someone is weak. And if you're like, well, I don't know, I just don't feel, never make it about feelings, always make it about facts. I am unable to do this because of this and this. Not, I don't feel like, because women are always like, I don't feel, I shouldn't have to. Here are the facts. Here's what's preventing it. Look at it mathematically.
Yeah, when in doubt, just act like a rich private school kid whose dad has a lot of money. And you just sort of say what you think you're supposed to have.
Well, no, because then it's a lot of feelings. I don't feel like I should. So give me that line. Suck my dick. Tully_S. This is following up. She says, Iliza and Smokey Husky, you answered my question about being single on your last podcast, and I just wanted to follow up. I don't have a turkey tail, but concealer hides the gill pretty well. Turkey tail. I re-downloaded the dating apps. Will you do your turkey?
Oh, that's the
We pretend we have this character that we
the
do.
turkey who's a monk.
A Spanish
or an
monk.
Italian priest.
An Italian priest.
I guess he was Spanish.
He's Spanish.
Who knows?
Chompity pipe.
And he goes,
You can't
That's
see he's
him.
blessing with
Yeah,
his wing.
He's blessing people.
I re-downloaded the dating apps since I don't want to be having a temper tantrum with the universe, LOL. And while nothing has happened yet, I'm hopeful for the first time in a while that I'm closer to finding someone. Thank you for being amazing, hilarious.
This
truly
seems
person.
like a earlier question
I'm just saying.
from pre-quarantine.
Right. Well, now who knows? But you know what? Think about how well you're going to get to know these people.
I don't know. I think sometimes if you chat with people too much before you meet them, you start to create this like version of them in your head. Then you meet them in real life, and you're like, oh,
You were
shit.
way uglier than I had imagined.
I mean more personality.
Great angles, though. Geo_Cruise89. How are you guys holding up? I usually ask more relationship advice questions, but with the current situation, I'd rather check on you guys. Thank you, Geo Cruise. We're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, I say this a lot, but I'm basically the luckiest person in the world. I mean, I get to be home with my wife and my dog in our home, and we have food and a dog and internet and a couch. So, I mean, I love getting to do this. And we don't have to get into fights where we're going to go to eat dinner.
The only thing we fight about is that. And now that he's making all the food, it's fine. I personally love it. We'll get into the top and bottom of the cob later. It's kind of sad how much I look forward to the walk with the dog and going to the country store. But it is a really great time to kind of just slow down and chill out. The world is not ending, or so we think. And for the time being, just enjoy the go. Enjoy the slow go. Sloan from Community says, hi. Do you or Smokey Husky have any advice for eating healthy, just better while living in college dorms? There's a salad bar, but it can be hard to keep up a healthy diet with variety when most of the food is honestly just not appetizing.
So if you're in college trying to eat healthy and you're doing like dorm food and it's like you've got that buffet line in the morning and for lunch, like, yeah, that's tough. If I had like screen grabs of the line, I can help you through a little bit better. But just try to be smart about what you want to put in your body. And sometimes it means not enjoying your food if the only option is not good for you. But, it's a place that's probably have oatmeal and stuff in the mornings. That's good for you. Try to avoid eating sugar is one of the worst things you can eat. Fried stuff, like when they have that like horrible nacho bar, it's basically just like a tray full of chips and then cold cheese in a microwave and a bunch of like drunk people waiting in line to melt cheese in a microwave. Like, that's not dinner.
Yeah. The
So-
sugar thing is tough because it's in everything.
Yeah.
Loading up on roughage.
If you have the ability if you have an apartment eventually, like you're later on in your college life and you can cook, that's incredibly helpful. But yeah, it's tough. Try to find the nearest health food store and try to stock up on healthy snacks.
Okay. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's for life. None.of.your.lizness. Nice dots, jerk. Iliza, Smokey Husky, and Tian Fu. I'm a bartender, and the majority of my friends are also in the service industry. Our work has significantly been affected by this virus. The restaurant I'm employed at has stopped training for 5 people that I know of. I also have a 5-year-old, and his school has been canceled. Ugh. It's hard not to be worried, but I'm not sure what to do from here. Any suggestions to put my mind at ease? Love you guys.
This is a very, very, very complicated question with a lot of issues and a lot of constantly changing information that varies from state to state, city to city. So I'm certainly not an authority on this. I know some chefs are temporarily laying off employees so they can claim unemployment benefits.
Ooh, there you go.
But then meanwhile, how well stocked is the unemployment office these days? So how fast is that going to move? Smart businesses will find a way to kind of figure things out. Restaurants and bars have very horrible profit margins, so it's very hard to survive with this stuff. I think a lot of restaurants are going to close for the coronavirus and end up not reopening. And that's just sort of, I think, a sad reality of a very razor-thin margin business in the first place.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, the unemployment thing is one way people are dealing
Yeah, ask
with
your
it.
employer if they would do that for you.
Some places are also, there's talk of hourly employees getting benefits who can't work. I mean, it's, again, varies state to state, city to city, restaurant to restaurant.
It's tough too because you don't want to tell people somebody said, why don't you go on Cameo? And I appreciate that and understand that. I'm fortunate enough that I've got money saved, I'm fine. But there are maybe online things you can do. Maybe they always get you don't want to pay to secret shop, or people that take online surveys. This is so unprecedented because it's not like a depression where it's well, I could find maybe another type of job. It's hard when you can't, and you've got a kid too. So hopefully your community can pull together.
Yeah, and there's some interesting stuff New York just passed a temporary bill allowing people to sort of in a short-term basis do to go on alcohol from bars. So hopefully other states go in that direction too, and then you have the ability to do that.
Yeah, get that alcohol to go. Drink and drive in your car, and hopefully the insurance companies aren't coming into work and no one can get in trouble.
I think it's more like bottles than sippy cups.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a sippy cup. The only say, what are your favorite activities to do together? Games, TV shows, DIY projects. My boyfriend and I met in art school, so we go to art galleries for a little throwback, botanical gardens, and we watch certain shows together. I also have a BOTC, TOTC. Oh, bottom of the cob, top of the cob. She says bottom of the cob, freshly washed sheets and fresh shaven legs. Bottom of the cob, bad hair days. Well, that's not so bad.
Top of the cob, top sheets. Bottom of the cob, bottom sheets.
Filthy bottom sheets. What do we do together?
You were saying the other day that your favorite thing in the world was just sitting on the couch with me nearby while you were looking at your phone. But
yeah, I
enjoy
that. Just
watching
within touching distance.
Yeah, we've been watching weirdly. We both haven't probably watched Family Guy in regularly in 10 years, and we've been watching a lot of Family Guy. I think we're going to start doing taking turns picking movies for the other person to watch that they haven't seen before. Smokey's
never seen Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion,
and I'm either going to have Eliza watch Inglourious Bastards or My Blue Heaven, which are very different movies.
But also the same.
Yeah, both of them feature weird accents.
There you go. As far as things we like working out together when we can.
We like having worked out together.
LA is such a clusterfuck. So it's hard to be we'll go to a museum because the day you want to go, there's 5,000 bus tours there.
And Eliza's so busy and on the road so much that when she's home, we just kind of like to cook and be home and hang out, or we go to dinner or whatever.
But what you want to do is get you a man who, whatever you say you want to do, they're great, let's do it. So we're sitting last night, we had a bottle of wine because it's whatever, who cares? And I was we need crystals. And he was okay. And I don't know, I think you were just saying, okay, I went upstairs and I got some crystals and I tried to make a little cute coffee table. I put a crystal and some incense and a candle. He's what are you doing? I'm I'm just making a thing. And he was okay. The point is you don't need a guy to always do it, but as long as he's down for you doing it.
Yeah, you asked if I wanted to help and I was we have to hang things? You're no, we're just going to put them on a table. And I was oh, great.
I'll just sit here. For
speaking
me,
of wine.
What's important is having you there while I putter around. And I can sing songs to you.
That's true.
About my dog. What about wine?
Oh, just that if anyone's curious what Eliza's favorite relatively recently discovered style of wine is, it's natural orange wine.
I like orange wine. I can't
chuggable orange wine, nothing too funky. Chug.
I can't do red. It makes my nose stuffy. And white wine, I just don't want to be the girl drinking white wine. Abigail Walker, 14. Hi, Eliza and Smokey Husky. Super bummed about the Denver show. I was too, Abigail. I even had my Denver socks. Actually, I'm wearing them right now because I was ready to go. I need help dealing with morally stubborn people, especially when it seems that they always drive a hard line when it's convenient to them. I'm in this friend group of adult women.
Is that morally stubborn or morally loose? If their morality changes based on their desires.
I think it's a moment to moment basis. Yeah. I don't think it has to do with morals. I think it's just attitude. Loose attitude.
You know what they say, loose attitude, loose stools.
Loose buttholes, kick that squatty potty. Okay, I'm in this friend group of adult women, and sometimes it feels like if I don't agree with them, I'm a bad person. Yep. Or failing a social performance. Recently, a few of us were shamed for having a small gathering amidst the COVID-19. 3 people at home last Friday, and we are no longer doing this, by the way. Okay, I'm not trying to typhoid marry you. But then conveniently, a few days later, it's okay for them to drive across the country to be with family. And now I'm the asshole for pointing out the hypocrisy in that. I'm starting to get fed up with the holier than thou judgment from disagreeing. And this is just the most recent example. I don't respond to it anymore. But at what point do you call people out when you should let it go? And when do you personally say it's time for new people? Well, I think you know that I'm going to always say it's always time for new people. Smoke and Husk?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming these people have positive qualities also that make it worth hanging out with them. But if not, then
it's a thing that women tend to do. This like little, very like middle school mentality of like, you don't agree with us? Well, we've all decided this, and that's how you get groups of women. There's usually like one alpha, and then the rest like kowtow to her. You're always like, you pick your battles. But if they're going out of their way to shame you and make you feel bad, you want a group of people that listen to you and that, nobody likes to be called out for stuff. You should be calling them out because what they're doing is socially irresponsible, not as like a tit for tat kind of thing. But if you're finding that in general, you're feeling like your voice doesn't matter, I went on a trip once with a group of girls. And because I wasn't like the reason everyone was friends, I was like of like the 4 or 5 like low men on the totem pole. No one listened to me. I'd be like, can we go here for dinner? Like, well, Lindsay doesn't want to do that. This should be an oligarchy. This should be bipartisan effort. It shouldn't just be like one girl decides. So those girls sound like sheep. Fuck them. And they sound stupid. And they're the reason that like Nebraska is going to get COVID-19 because she like had to be with family. So your friends sound awful. That's it.
This next question is from her friends.
We got this one girl who has bad ideas. Siphon off the one that you like from the group and move on. You don't want to be part of that. You just don't. You want to feel valued. And you probably aren't yourself when you're around them either. This is a very female-based question. Dudes are like, I don't know, he's a dick. I don't see him anymore. That's it. That's my answer. What do you think?
I'm getting good with it.
You're here to support me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you support me leaving all my friends. Numerous Sacks. This question is for @Galootin. My husband and I are big fans of Tasted. Rest in peace. What was your favorite random food to try that you didn't expect to like, such as Pepsi Cheetos or cappuccino flavored potato chips? Oh, and this is Sharon and Charles from Nashville, since Noah doesn't like reading the @names.
I greatly appreciate your listening and fandom and all that fun stuff. I wish.
Tell them what Tasted was.
Tasted. There was a food YouTube.
Did you actually do it?
Channel. Tasted was the channel, and I had a couple of shows on it back in the day, maybe like 7 years ago now, something like that. And it was a very fun little gig. A lot of it was me standing in front of a green screen while people gave me weird foods to eat. Then I would say that they tasted gross, and then people in the comments would write in to call me an elitist douchebag. That was pretty much the internet. And we had so much random stuff. Trying to think of what I really liked. What did I think I remember, it's such a blur, to be honest. So many of it is like they were just trying to give me the weirdest stuff, like buttered popcorn flavored soda and like birthday cake flavored vodka.
Anything? I'll take it. Oh, yeah. I loaded up. When that first came out, I bought 12 bottles of Pinnacle whipped cream flavored vodka, and I could not get rid of it.
But sometimes some of the fast food stuff is just kind of garbagey good fun.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky, stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi whole body deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right wings, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code ELIZA for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code ELIZA at LumiDeodorant.com.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Here's a question. Laura Celestleger. Can you ask a Luton to say, I'm an emotional man?
I'm an emotional man.
Oh. Were either of you scared when Eliza was traveling so much? Galoon, do you have family in Italy? Mine is in Milan.
I'm still scared that she was traveling so much. How long until these symptoms come through?
Yeah, we had this box of fan gifts shipped home from Columbus, and he's like, we're just going to open it? I'm like, it's not going to, like, fart open and just, like, little monsters are going to attach themselves. I did wash my hands.
We don't know that.
It was important that I get gifts. It's a part of my mental well-being. I need gifts. You don't have any family in Italy, but your family is from?
My mom's side is from Caserta, in the Campania, near Naples.
Candace Fawn, did you take his last name? Why or why not?
Eliza always said that she was very excited to marry a man and take their last name. And then she met me, and I have the only last name that she dislikes more than her own. Although, weirdly, I think you kind of liked my family last name when you saw it on like a giant headstone at our family grave plot.
Yeah, weird twist. Turns out our grandparents are buried in the same cemetery on Long Island, which was a very morbid discovery a couple Thanksgivings ago.
Not too close together.
Not family, not like Jewish inbred, but, you know, same cemetery. And on the tombstone for his family plot, there's a giant G, and I was like, that looks esteemed. That's got gravitas. I didn't take his last name because I spent a lifetime saying Schlesinger. I don't know why I should shift laterally and have to say Galootin now. People are still assholes about it. So if it's not easier, I don't see why I'd change it.
Yeah, if my last name was something like
Macintosh.
Yeah.
Smith.
Cobb.
Top of my cob. Also, you know, it's one thing to have to endure like Schlesinger, and people always mispronounce it and think it's so funny when they're just ignorant, which is why I'm always respectful of other people's difficult last names. But I'm not signing up for hearing, like, oh, are you gluten free? Like, first of all, that would mean we got a divorce. Second of all, not the same word. Third of all, like, find a new joke. Now people are going to say it. Really set myself up. Sorry, I'm monitoring the battery level on this thing. I don't want it to die. Green _eggs _and Sam. Should I cancel our wedding? It was supposed to be May 2nd in Austin with about 125 guests, half who would need to fly in from the East Coast.
Were you just hissing at the word eggs?
I was hissing at the underscore.
Oh.
At the word eggs. Don't even suggest eggs.
When was it?
May 2nd.
Yeah, probably. At the very least, start digging in on the refund policies and how to move stuff.
Yeah. There's usually a thing in there for like act of God, and hopefully that like if I can't make a show because of an act of God, like I don't get in trouble for it. So
the act of God stuff is wild. I was just
like
listening,
who's God? What part of the country?
Listening to Malcolm Gladwell talking about like all the crazy minutia of act of God clauses and legal contracts and how they're essentially like impossible to negotiate, and you just end up going into like there's going to be like years of litigation probably around like the deals with TV deals with like all these like sporting arenas. And
also, like act of God, like are you a Southern preacher? Well, I had that $1 million. It was an act of God.
Or it's like when like screenplay rights are bought by a studio, and it says things like these characters are owned by this company in all the known universe. Mm-hmm. I just think that's very funny.
I think that's funny. Also, act of God. Like, I like how it's God's will if a woman gets pregnant, but if she accidentally miscarries, that's not an act of God. In like Central American countries, like, oh, you got to go to jail. I'm like, is it an act of God if I run away? Like, where does God's reach stop? It's only for whoever's judging you. So, good luck, and yes, cancel your wedding. Although I don't know where you live, because like Idaho doesn't have this disease, but you're flying in monkeys.
An act of God is a choice made between two lawyers.
Between two white old lawyers about what to do with a woman's body. That's an act of God. Nanda _MPG. Hi, Eliza. Just finished watching Spencer Confidential. Was wondering if you came up with the Snow Peach song when your final scene at the beach was filmed. Pearl being the dog you guys... Oh, and being on the beach. I was so happy with your little insider fans when you called Smokey in one of the scenes. I saw you at Yukon. Hope it was in Connecticut. I didn't, at the time when we filmed that scene, Blanche was my dog, and she was actually just off camera sitting in a PA's lap. So That was about 2 years ago. So I didn't have tofu at the time. Pearl on the, what?
Well, no, they're saying that your dog in the movie's name was
Oh,
Pearl.
right.
And you found a Pearl on the beach.
Oh my God. Thank you for listening.
You're
because
welcome.
I totally missed that. No, but that is an
You hear
excellent.
that, husbands?
You know what? Yeah, I should definitely pretend that was it. Yeah, that's totally why. No, Pearl on the Beach came from my brother was holding Tian Fu. And where were we? When did I even see him? I think it was No, we didn't have her at Thanksgiving. It was in Dallas. And he called her a beach pearl. And the song was born. That's no more or less random than most of the stuff I say. But you know what? Great call. Wow. Nanda_MPG for the win. Matt Bentonow says, Dear Eliza, do you ever think that maybe you're just too goddamn hard on Emily, especially with regard to movie preferences, Taco Bell and her relatable cobs, both top and bottom? No. She has it too easy. Here's what people don't understand about the relationship I have with my employee, Emily Higgins. We are beyond feminism. We talk shit to each other the way dudes do, and people aren't familiar with women being that close to each other, but that's a real female relationship.
I think you guys like to treat each other the way like a mom and daughter do.
I definitely. The amount of times I'm like, clean your car or you're not getting any cake.
And she kind of treats you like you're her daughter too.
Yeah.
You're basically both each other's moms, and that's the relationship.
We need each other. MJ Roher 13 says, The Great Smoky Husky. Have you thought about starting a channel doing these food tutorials? Eliza, love you and the noises you make. If you read this, please let out a big dragon roar for me and my friend. We quote you all the time. What does a dragon roar sound like?
You're yeah, you have a whole thing. That's the one.
That's anyone.
Do I? Sure, I'd love to have a food show. But I don't want to make one. Well, I guess we're kind of making one now. So
We're kind of making one now. It's called Don't Panic Pantry. We had the best idea.
if anyone wants to give me one, I'll take it. But I don't want to
give us a
start.
show.
I trying to get my own YouTube following. That sounds exhausting.
Minis in NY. Age of husband's cute brother asking for a friend. Not really.
Well, my brother has a girlfriend now.
Yeah, we're so sorry, Minis. Why?
And he is, let's see, 40.
He's 40, but he has the body of a 60-year-old yogi. Very flexible. Lucinio. Luceenu. Lucinio. Apart from cooking up a storm, what else are you and Smoky Man doing to keep yourselves occupied during this time? Please note this question was not intended to sound inappropriate in any way. I mean, we do have sex. Greetings from the UK. Stay strong. The land of keep calm and carry on.
Yeah, we, like I said before, we're watching weirdly a lot of Family Guy. Doing these cooking videos is taking up a lot of our time.
Yeah, we try to make each one better the next day. I organize my bras. We work out every morning.
Mm-hmm.
We take the dog for walks. I have some outlines due for other projects. Never forget that this will end, and then people are going to pick right back up, and you want to be ahead of everyone. You'd be like, look at all this work I did.
Yeah, so I'm working on my stuff, trying to get things moving and shaking.
Yeah.
And that's it. Stay busy.
Stay busy.
And, find some cool shows to watch.
I've never asked you this. What is your thought on game nights? Because W. Faskin says, what's your favorite game night? Game night game? Do you prefer board games over card games? Looking for a few games to play while I'm stuck at home with the fam. We've never done a game night.
No, I mean, when I've played games in my life in the past, I've enjoyed them, I suppose. Game night always just sounds like it's like a bunch of couples meeting together to play some random game together. And, who knows? If there's like a really good game to play, then
I can't see you caring, but I could also see you getting very serious.
I used to play Hearts a lot when I was in college. That was fun.
Okay. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Catherine Elizabeth, do y'all make your own milks? I'm dairy free and I've been looking to making my own milk.
We don't make our own milks. I think I might have done it once. But
What'd you make?
what did I make? I think I made an almond milk once. Just to
Okay.
see what would happen. But
It's pretty easy to do. It just requires a lot of almonds.
Yeah. It seems it's not a priority for me in any way, so I don't really care about it that much. But I encourage people to do whatever, learn to make stuff.
It'd
It's
definitely
great.
be cheaper for you.
I'm
Make your
more
own
on the fermenty kick right now.
He likes
Sauerkraut,
saltier things, yeah.
Lacto fermented guava, sourdough starter, things like that.
Also, making your own milk, you can control the amount of sugar. A lot of times, and you've told me this, people buy almond milks and they're flavored, or they have sugar oat milks
Nobody
too.
tells you if you get an almond milk latte that it has sugar in it. Most of the baristas in the world don't even realize that the almond milk they're pouring you has sugar in it.
Here's a good question for you, because you're more of a music person. Smokey Husky's father and stepfather both have Grammys. Smokey Husky's dad is a man named Albie Galutin, who produced the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack.
Can be a good podcast guest for you.
He would be a dope podcast guest, but that means he has to drive to Hollywood.
You can do a phoner.
I don't want to do a phoner. I want to touch him. So J. Aaron says, what are your 5 desert island albums? I'm a song-by-song kind of fan, so that's a tough one for me.
I would have needed to see this question in advance to do this properly, but just off the top of my head, some albums that I think are great. I get into like some David Bowie kicks sometimes. I think Young Americans is like secretly one of like the great albums of all time, and my least favorite song on it is probably Young Americans. What else am I getting to lately? I've listening lately a lot, randomly re-listening to Neil Young. On the Beach is a great record.
You like Sam Cooke?
I do like Sam Cooke a lot. Sam Cooke Live in Harlem is a great album.
Okay.
I got tons. I got so many great albums out there.
Should we plug drinks?
Yeah, you want to listen to
Our friend Kevy, dear friend.
Kevin Fairkin at Walrus Burst at Drinks Music, DRYNXMUSIC.
He has a song called All My Eddies, and it is a fucking bop.
We should tag him in the...
We can probably play it right now. He
Probably
doesn't
can.
like... Yeah, let's play it right now. You know what? Why not? You guys are going to love this song. If you're in your car...
He also has a great song called Wind Farm that I like a lot. It's available on Spotify, I think, and on Apple Music.
Let's just play it. Why not? Wait, which more? No, here it is. We'll play a little bit. Get your butt down. How fun is this? Get your drugs out. It's total gibberish. Don't even try. Oh, shit, yeah. I know. You want to hear more.
He's also the director of operations of our restaurant group and the general manager of Blood Sauce Barbecue.
It's a family affair. Next question for you. Magentamed. What tools do you use to plan for your travel when traveling with your dog? The most important tool is my assistant, Emily, who calls the airline to set up Tianfu on the flight. I think it's essential to have a little travel dish for her for water. Sometimes you're in an airport. Sometimes they don't want to drink out of the vessel you have. So a little thing for like in the car, a little collapsible dog bowl, plenty of dog poop bags. You really don't need that much. At hotels, there was like, does your dog need a bed? And while it's good to give them their own space, she likes to sleep on the bed. A toy so they don't get bored. A chewy toy so they can feel sated. That's about it. You don't really need a lot. It's not a baby.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I was thinking about albums that I like, and I did not know what you were talking about all of a sudden.
That is okay because you don't travel with a dog. I do. So per usual, you're just off in your man world and I'm taking care of our baby.
Aretha Franklin, Never Loved a Man the Way I Loved You is
Thank you so much.
Great album.
The _babysitter, _babysitter. What was it like doing a movie with Mark Wahlberg, Post Malone, and Cowboy Cerrone? Fun fact, when you do a movie...
Who's Cowboy Cerrone?
He's an MMA fighter who was in the movie at the top in the scene with Post Malone fighting him. Sometimes when you do a movie... At the premiere, I got to meet all these people that were in the movie that I didn't have scenes with. And so if you're not shooting on the same day, you might never meet them. So I never met Cowboy Cerrone. I only met Post Malone because I was on set that day and I asked him for a picture. But everybody enjoyed working with them. And Mark Wahlberg, different actor. As I've said in pretty much every interview, the consummate professional, extremely busy man. Not a ton of bonding going on off camera, but he was never anything other than very professional and delightful to work with in the scene. And the God's honest truth is, he was awesome, but even if he was awful, like I would never be the actor that's like, he was the real dick. He looked at my butt. He was great. He was really, really cool, and I really hope we can do more movies together because I had fun doing press with him. Jen, Music Maniac, was supposed to get married on 4/19 in Southern California. We decided to postpone until September. Any words of encouragement for brides going through the same thing? Yeah, you're getting married. It's about the destination. Oops, it's about the journey, not the destination. It sucks because you planned on it, you had your heart set on it, but you have all this more time now to think about wedding trends, reevaluate things, change your mind a billion times. It's really a gift, you know? It's really a gift. All right, fine. I'll ask you a question. Hazardous. When making any kind of soup with pasta, is there a trick to not have the noodles in your leftover soup turn to mush? That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'll handle this.
Okay.
Yeah, eat them.
Don't put all the noodles in the soup. I tend to cook the amount of pasta that I want to have at that moment. And then you boil the pasta, you drain it, you put those noodles back into the pot that you cooked the pasta in, and then ladle your soup in there with the pasta. So you cook them separately and then reheat, and then you heat them up together so the starch noodles combine with the soup and you make a nice little soup. And then your leftovers are just the soup. And that's my trick. Although also, shout out to the Japanese for making alkaline noodles. You ever notice, as I kind of ramble there, how ramen noodles don't get overly soft the way that like regular pasta does?
You're right.
That's because they are alkalized.
What does that mean?
So basically, if you're like really technical, alkalinity is the opposite of acidity, which I know doesn't make this any more clear. But basically, you use, I think it's basically sodium bicarbonate. Shit, I'm forgetting what it is. You can look up basically like alkaline water. You can buy it at a lot of Chinese markets. It's called kansui in Japanese. Basically, you mix that in with your dough. It makes your dough super stiff, but it makes the noodles kind of bouncy and chewy. Stiff. It's the same property that goes into a proper corn tortilla that gives that kind of that's that alkaline smell, that kind of bright, fermenty, cool flavor, and that's what gives them a little bit of extra good texture. So that's not the answer to your question.
Teresa Boswell, your Netflix specials are all that's getting me through social distancing since the SLC got rescheduled. I know, I'm so sorry. I also have a book called Girl Logic that you can read or listen to. But okay, question. If your life depended on absolutely slaying at karaoke, what would your top 3 jams be?
Top 3?
Well, okay. I did this show here in LA called the Goddamn Comedy Jam, and I had to practice Edge of 17 by Stevie Nicks. And then what was that other song? By like Heart. One. Okay, fine. Edge of 17 by Stevie Nicks only because I've rehearsed it so many times. Now, I think we should get into a very personal story. One of the first trips that Smokey Heskey and I took together was to Japan. And we were getting shit canned a lot, but we got shit canned. It
was like a trip where everything kind of went wrong. We were in Thailand first. We were supposed to go to this little island, and the island was flooded. It was torrential rainstorms.
So only affecting us, no one else.
We had to make a quick audible if it were what we were going to do. So we were able to move our connecting flight through Tokyo up and just go to Japan in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
And I had never been, actually, and I was super excited to go.
I had been once.
But we got there, and it was raining, and all this stuff was sort of going wrong. The restaurant reservations got messed up at this robot restaurant Eliza wanted to go to. All this stuff went wrong, and finally I just said, screw it, let's do it. Picked up her tail, and I
picked up your tail.
We lit a lot of each other's tail picking up.
Well, it was a lot of it was a first trip as a couple, and you start to see not cracks, but where the other person's weaknesses is. And I never realized that, he's Smokey Man and he has feelings too. And he was getting sad, and he reminded me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. And he was so sad because I wasn't happy. And I turned to him and I said, hey, you dropped your tail. And I pinned his tail back on. And we made a decision. We changed the energy. And we went to this one bar and we ordered a ton of drinks. It was the night. We just
decided to get shit canned.
We decided to get shit canned. And it was the night that you threw up on your shoes.
And you threw up on a radiator.
I threw up on a radiator.
And we were in this crappy hotel.
That was in the red light district, but for gay dudes.
Something like that.
It was like a gay male prostitute red light district. Not that it would have been okay either way, but it was just really random.
And then I had pulled in some favors through this casino that I'd opened a restaurant with in Australia, and they hooked me up with a little shout out to the Andaz Tokyo, who took unbelievable care of us. So I was able to get a hookup with that hotel for the next night. So we had one last night in the red light district, and we just got absolutely creamed. And we walked out of this bar and we were like, we should sing karaoke. We're in Japan.
sing
And I speak
karaoke.
a little bit of Japanese. It comes and goes.
Choto.
And I
Choto
walked
wakaru.
up to a guy who was walking past us and I went drunkenly, I said, "Sumimasen, karaoke wa doko desu ka?" Basically me asking, excuse me, where is karaoke? The guy looked at me like I was insane, pointed across the street to a giant karaoke sign that I did not see. And we walked in and we got one of those little private rooms.
I was wearing a shirt that had Blanche's face on it, and somewhere there was grainy footage.
Those videos have been deleted by you.
Oh. I sang Nicki Minaj Super Bass, which is actually very difficult to sing along to. And you surprised me because you sang Let's Stay Together by Al Green.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a beautiful singing voice. And I had no idea that you had that.
Yeah.
Let's stay
Keeping a couple of secrets.
together.
And
then I saw your turkey tail.
yeah. And then we huddled in to our night, passed out, woke up the next day and went into maybe still the best like regular hotel I've ever been to.
The Andaz?
Yeah, as
Because
opposed
that was the
to
last
like,
night in the red light district. Yeah.
yeah,
that was
as
great.
opposed to like, like a big resorty full thing.
We loved it too because all the snacks in the room are free.
And they took
Last
outstanding
question.
care of
They
us.
did.
That's the last question.
Well, we're at 48 minutes. I want to, well, not last question. Here's one. Soul Man 77. What's your favorite song from the 1980s? Have we talked about the Toto song?
Oh,
Have we talked about it on here?
I don't think so.
Okay, so everybody loves Africa by Toto. I bless the rains down in Am I flat? Noah also has like, I don't know, perfect pitch, but you know music.
It's not perfect pitch, but I grew up in a family of music people.
Tell
Like,
me
we
if
used
I'm-
to do like solfege in the car growing up.
Okay, tell me if I bless the rains down in Africa. I bless the rains. That was good. Is it flat?
It's flat.
Okay. So there's a line in Africa by Toto when he's like, "She's coming in 12:30 flight."
And it's this very like late night rendezvous, but we were like, it never specified. So we say,
They never specified if it's AM or PM.
so we would sing to each other, "She's coming in 12:30 flight. She's landing just in time for lunch."
Like the least sexy of all the meals.
Like they're just gonna.
Just in time. He's making her like a tuna sandwich.
We were like, "We're gonna get a half sandwich with soup."
It's half off if you share your sides. Okay.
So that's not actually our favorite 80s song, but it's the one we're going to talk about.
Christy Marie 2220 says, "How do you both feel about hot sauce? How hot can you go?"
It's great.
Well-
I've got a pretty high spice tolerance, but I'm not into it for like the who can like flex harder and
Who
eat
can
the
have
spicier thing.
fire diarrhea?
I want it
quicker?
to complement the food. And if it's there to make the food better, then great. That's why like we love going to my friend Chris's restaurant, Night Market, where you can get like all this really, it's spicy and sweet and salty and
It's
sour.
Thai spicy, which is different. It's like a layered spice.
And it's combating all these different flavors in opposite directions. You drink these amazing natural wines there. That's super fun. I love going to eat Szechuan because we eat that like Szechuan spicy numbing thing is
well, that's
great.
what you want. You want to work yourself into almost this like frenzy where you're just drinking and eating, and it's almost euphoric. I love spicy food, but it depends on the restaurant because they're like, how spicy? Consider the ethnicity of the person asking you, because they're usually at Thai restaurants, like there's white people spicy, and they will caution you. They'll be like, please don't get a 10. We don't want to get sued. So just remember, if you're white, your taste buds are not as conditioned as those of our tanner counterparts.
So ultimately, that's to say I can take it pretty spicy, but also like I prefer a buffalo wing that is like regular and not like ripped up Carolina Reaper wing sauce.
Rip out your butthole, blow out that O-ring. Tuesdays at 10.
Yeah, I think a little bit spicy tastes good also. So
Tiff Naff FC. I sound like I have a stroke. Do either of you play video games? If so, what games? I don't, but fun fact about Smokey Husky.
I used to a long time ago, and I retired from video games a while
Thank
back.
God before I met him. Woof.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was really into like those NBA video games where you go into like franchise mode, and all of a sudden I realized I was just sitting here. It was like 4 years into the future, and I'm working on practicing the jump shot of my second round pick, and I was like, oh, wait a second, you know what I should be doing with my time? anything else.
Fucking chicks.
And so, so I started fucking chicks and
Where are they?
writing.
_ Haley Morgan _ Hi Eliza and Smokey. What different methods have you been using to help Tianfu adjust to life in your home? I adopted a little lab who I believe was used as a bait dog. What does that mean? And she's still having trouble with anxiety. She doesn't do well with men around bigger dogs. Would love to hear your thoughts as a fellow pet rescuer. Love your stuff. Hope to see you in April in St. Louis. Well, you won't.
One quick backtrack on the previous question. Just to say also, I stopped because I liked them too much. So this is no shade being thrown at people who like video games. They're amazing video games. I can watch
'em.
people play
Fuck
video
'em.
games. No, my personality is I tend to like either
needs to be around people.
obsessively get into things. I don't really do anything at half speed. I either get really into it or I don't do it. And I would rather have been into things that I could make money at.
Noted for the record. Also, Finding Pieces says, how's Tianfu's training going? Can you share how you've been working her to help her be her best snow peach? So we're combining that with Haley Morgan's. You expect these dogs to be fully automatic. Potty training, much to the dismay of our new rug, took a little bit of time. But here we are a couple months later. She understands to go out now, right? She gets a little weird. She doesn't growl at Noah anymore. We all saw the Instagram with my Uncle Marty. I think she's weird about large people coming into her space, but she's getting there. She growls, but it's almost like a perfunctory, just like, and you're like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know why I'm growling. Help me.
PTS
dog. So we try to be understanding. We try to train her. We put her on the leash. We bring her up to people. She never bites. You don't want people to think that you're okay with your dog just being a maniac, but she's a totally different dog. She used to walk with her tail down. Now she walks with her tail up. She knows to poop and pee outside. She knows that she's safe with us. There's a little bit of an attachment problem, and I know we're supposed to train her to not do that, but I love it when she follows me into the bathroom. One time she came into the shower. So why do we have, she's not a working dog. She's here. She's in my lap right now, half asleep. And I love that we comfort her. And I love that we try to break her of the habit where she takes her food and hides it in the rug. And that breaks my heart because she's like, oh, I'll never have food again. But just remembering that she's here to bring us comfort and joy, and we're here to give her a nice life. We're not training her for war.
But yeah, yesterday I cooked her fresh giblets with carrots and peas and oats that I had from some extra stuff we were cooking. And it was super gross when she tried to hide it in the rug.
And it was, we had raw peas. Or I guess they were cooked peas in the rug. Not that it makes it okay. Bethany A. Dawson, what are your biggest pet peeves about each other? Dying to know. Otherwise, you guys seem too perfect. Jokes. I love you.
First of all, why would we tell that to people?
If it's not something like, well, he's got erectile dysfunction, but not for dudes. Pet peeves, because it's usually funny. Like, I feel bad for you because your teeth are huge. Sometimes you get food in your teeth, but that's not a pet peeve. I feel bad for you.
I think both of our pet peeve about the other person is how much we both hate trying to decide where to eat, surrounded by restaurants that we don't like anymore.
You say Jesus a lot when something like you drop something, Jesus.
All right.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like a pet peeve. No, because
sometimes you scream really loud in a high pitch with excitement without any awareness of how close my ear is to your mouth. And that's
super valid.
Not my favorite.
Definitely true. I'm a very, for better for worse, I'm a very fast person. And for better for worse, Smokey Man's a slower person. So I think sometimes I get frustrated he isn't reacting fast enough. And I'm sure every once in a while you'd like it if I would just like take a knee, but like not in a political way.
You come in a little hot sometimes.
I come a little hot. The other day you told me to cool it.
You got to cool it now.
Watch out. Got to cool it now. Watch out before you lose control. Come on, cool it now. Yeah, sometimes I'll be like, come on, sing with me. And you'll be like, no, you're a little grump. Sometimes you get a little grumpy.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to like...
I think you're a very considerate person. I'm very vocal about things. So it's not one of those marriages where it's like, it drives me crazy and I don't know what to say. From the beginning, you've been almost too exploratory. Sometimes I feel like I'm the guy. I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. You're like, well, these are our feelings.
Yeah, I don't think that either of us get annoyed by something the other person does, and they're like, but that's me. It's like, we get annoyed by stuff, we're all like, yeah, I agree that I should be better about that.
Today on a walk, I was talking, and you talked over me, and I got upset. And then you got upset. You're like, what, I can't chime in? And I was like, but I was saying something, because I'm used to speaking uninterrupted. And then I said sorry. And then you said sorry, but I didn't think you needed to be sorry, even though it was your fault. But it was mostly my fault.
Well, that's why my apology was half-hearted.
J'accuse. So that's it. Yeah, no real pet peeves. You know, I think it's a sign of disrespect, like when you hear, like, my husband leaves his dirty dishes, or I think I'm the one that leaves dirty dishes, but you're so good at cleaning them. Or, like, my husband leaves his socks around. I think it's a sign of lack of respect for the other person if you keep doing things to hurt them and bother them.
If it's intentional, that's annoying. But usually it's not.
But that's the other thing. Like, well, then intentionally pay attention to it. This idea, like, he just always forgets, and it's like, make it a point to not. Like, yesterday when we were uploading our videos from our cooking show, you kept saying, tag me. And I'm like, fuck, I kept forgetting to tag you. And then I started thinking, like, oh my God, this is so rude. So I made myself remember after you asked me several times. And those are probably the, you guys wrote a lot of really great questions. So hopefully we can record, well, hopefully we won't have to record another one on lockdown, but sounds like we're going to be here for a bit.
I agree.
He's a smoky man. And check out our cooking show, Don't Panic Pantry, on Instagram. It's also on Facebook Live. We'll be posting the recipes, and we look forward to seeing what you guys make. And thank you for listening to Ask Eliza Anything, and thank you for asking questions. Before we get out of here, it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, the one redeeming quality of the show. It's Top of the Cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
Smoky Man, what's your top of the cob?
Shouldn't we start with the bottom and then end with the top so it ends on a high note?
It's definitely the tastier part. What's the bottom of the cob?
Well...
Oh, wait. I admitted it. The bottom of the cob's tastier. Go on.
This is sort of we talked about already, but my bottom of the cob is just kind of everything crazy that's going on right now, and particularly for me personally, it's all of my friends and colleagues in the restaurant business who are having to face some really, really tough decisions, and that sort of goes for people in that industry all across the country. It's a combination of sort of the financial concerns around it, what to do with your business, but also, these are people who can't self-quarantine. You can't do food service from home. And so it's a very complicated thing, and everyone's worried about their employees, and that sucks.
It is scary. My bottom of the cob is how quickly I've even contributed to spreading false information. You have a few people in your life that you really trust that seem to have like an inside track or have access to information before other people do. And so you share an Instagram post or a tweet or a text message, and then you find out later it wasn't the truth or it wasn't completely the truth. And in a time like this, as much as you try to keep a level head, you get a piece of information about the city closing down or a nationwide curfew, and you think you're getting information first, so you want to share it quickly. But now more than ever, you have to check your sources. And I'm embarrassed if I contributed to that in any way. So it's tough. It's tough to discern people doing things with a good heart, doing it just to spread stuff. So much like the coronavirus, misinformation also spreads. So never forget, check your sources. Fact check. Top of the cob.
My top of the cob is you.
Oh my goodness.
Well, we got all this like lockdown stuff happening, and we're gonna be, pretty much just the two of us together for a long time, and I'm incredibly lucky that I am so happy and excited to get to spend time with the person that I get to do that with. And I'm super lucky, and you're my top of the cob, baby.
You're my top of the cob, baby. Oh, can you imagine if I was like just hot? Oh, that'd be so boring. I'm sorry, but you're not my top of the cob. I love you so much. My top of the cob, it's tangentially related. It's quarantining put to the test. I'm always busy. I'm always exhausted. And I always think it'd be so great to just have a weekend. And I always wish that like the rest of the world would stop too. Because it's one thing if like you take a knee, but everybody else is like, great, I'm off making deals. So now I have that. So I love that it's like rubber meets the road. Like all the things I put off, it's time. I've got nothing but time. Read those outlines. Read your mom's book that she sent you. Write all those scripts. Finish all those loose ends. Clean out all those things. So I like that the universe is like, you want it? You got it. It won't be in the way you want it, but here you go. So I'm enjoying this time. I am stretching, flexing, prolapsing, and relaxing.
I'm looking at your note. Did you write no touch as a note to yourself?
Yeah, why did I write that? It was for my bottom of the cob. Oh yeah, that was bottom of the cob. People that keep saying, oh my God, like on a live video, don't touch your face.
Don't take a tip and use it in the wrong context. Don't touch your face like while you're out in public because you've touched something unsanitary. In your own home, once you've washed your hands, you can touch your face. Your face isn't what's getting you sick. It's what's on your hands coming from outside. So don't just regurgitate information like I did in my bond with the cop. Stay vigilant, stay safe, keep your questions coming, keep communication coming. We're all gonna be okay. We are here for you.
Flatten that curve.
Flatten that curve, baby!
Butterball knows Thanksgiving can bring so much joy, but also so many cooking questions. What size turkey? What's the best way to roast? How do I carve it? Don't panic. Butterball is here to help. Just give us a ring at the Butterball Turkey Talk line. We'll help with what's on the table so you can focus on those around it. Call 1-800-BUTTERBALL or text 844-877-3456 to reach our turkey experts. Butterball. Today, we turkey.